Hello, welcome. So I'm going to be using my Mascara 3D foundation. I'm going to start with my contour in the color Astoria. I'm going to tuck it just under my cheekbone in the hollows. For me, I have a natural shadow there. This is just going to emphasize it a little bit more. You would use contour here, especially if you have a more rounded face. It's going to actually give you a cheekbone versus for me where it just kind of enhances what I have already. You want to make sure not to go too low or blend down because that will make your face seem droopier. You want to kind of give yourself the effect of like a facelift, if you will. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go put it on the top of my forehead. This for me is going to help me slim my forehead down. So if you have a small forehead, I wouldn't recommend putting contour up there. Now, contour is a darker color. It's going to push things back. It's all about art. The Maskcara 3D contour does have coverage, so you don't have to go in with a layer of foundation and then put contour over it. You just put one layer of each in the spots where you need it. So now I'm going to go down on my chin. And again, this is kind of like my cheeks and just kind of sharpening up that line a little bit. If you have a little bit of weight under there, it will help you to disguise that. It's going to make it recede and like give you like a jaw lift, a neck lift. I don't know. It will just kind of clean things up down there and make things a little more sharp and precise. I just put a little bit of left over my nose. I'm not a huge nose contour fan. I got a bump, and sometimes if I don't really take the time, it just accentuates it. So now I'm going to go into my highlight shade, and this is kind of like foundation. I'm using the color Sandy, and I use this color. It's maybe just a tish a little bit darker than my skin, but what it does is it helps to cover up my redness and make my skin one even color. So if you think about, a lot of beauty people recommend using go lighter than darker. For me, that's just not what I personally like to do because if you think like a red wall, if you're going to put a light color over a red wall, you're going to see that red wall through the light. So I actually go in with a little bit of darker color to make sure that I have one canvas, one straight color. And then I brighten. Now, you have all sorts of different colors in your face. So you do what you are most comfortable with. You can go lighter and get it to work. For me, going lighter just makes me look patchy and gives me a lot of texture. It's easier for me to kind of take it up and go darker and then brighten in the spots that I need. All right, now I'm going to go into my brightening color. I'm using the color Sunlit, which has a really strong yellow base to it. I really love this color because it emulates light hitting my face. It's not a color I can use a ton if I'm lighter. It's a good color for when I'm more tan. So I'm just going to tuck it right there in that inner corner where I have the most like hollowness under my eye, and I can get a little bit of hollowness on the outside of my eye. So I tuck it in those two spots and then blend it a little bit up and then blend it down just to kind of brighten around my nose. It's like reverse contouring in a sense, since I don't love going in with a contour color on my nose. And then I'll use what's left over on my brush to cancel out any veins that I have on my eyelid. I kind of use it as an eye primer. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And blend it out. I switched to the other side to blend it out because it's got a wider surface to it. And this is a really dense brush, so it's going to deposit a lot of pigment down. So I'm really not using much at all. Do it on my forehead, my nose. I'm just adding the brightener in the spots where the sun is naturally going to hit and brighten your face. A little bit on the chin there. And as I mentioned before, your face is different color. So I'm not going to put that brightener under my cheek contour or all the way around my eyes, just on the forehead, under my eyes, down my nose, and a little bit on my cheek. And then now I'm going to go in with the Bella bronzer. This is one of my most favorite products. I used to use the bronzer from Physicians Formula, the one that smells like coconut. And it's a good bronzer, but the cream Bella bronzer, there are times where I end up getting I put too much on my brush and it splotches, but it blends out so beautiful. Just the blending capabilities of this bronzer makes it one of my absolute most favorite parts of makeup. And you can go heavier or lighter depending on do you want to look like you've been out in the sun all summer, or do you just want a little bit of extra color? It gives a lot of life to your face. Then I'm going to go in with the blush color Tropicana. This is becoming one of my favorite blushes. I just got it. It's kind of a brighter coral. It doesn't apply as pigmented as it looks in the pan. And that's one of the tricks with blushes. You might see this really dark or really vibrant color in the pan, and they don't usually translate onto the cheek that bold. Okay, I did my brows off camera real quick because that's usually the thing that takes the longest, more so than doing my whole face. And I'm going to do my eyes. So I went into the color Valencia. It's like a real light, soft peach color. I like to go in above my crease. Again, I have deep set eyes, so if I want to make my eye look bigger, I'm actually going to go above my crease. And I sometimes will just put this color all over my lid. Much like using an ivory or bone color, it's a great color I'll use to kind of just put on top and set the concealer that's on my eye so the darker colors don't stick. They'll blend out a little bit better if you have another lighter shadow over the sticky concealer or if you're actually using an eyeshadow primer. All right, then I'm going to go in with the color Gilded. Now this color has a little bit of a sheen to it. And when you don't get it wet, you don't really see it too much, but I love these two colors together, and I have hazel eyes. They lean way more on the green side, so I love using colors that play that green up. And Gilded isn't a purple, but it's got that like bronzy kind of purpley thing going on with it, so it is one of my favorite colors to use. And I'm just going to apply that to the outside of my eye, and then I'm going to go and underneath my eye and just kind of sweep it across to about the midpoint of my pupil. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So the trick with darker colors is the blending. Blend. And I'd rather take the time to put a little bit on my brush and build it up over time, because then you can control that blend. And if you notice on the one side of my eye, I went in with a little bit of too much and laid it down. And because I'm recording on an iPhone, I didn't notice that I had put down too much and not blended it out. But, you know, it's quarantine time. It's cocoon time, so no one's going to be judging me but my husband, and he doesn't care. So now I'm going to go in with Leo. I love taking a color like Leo. So Leo's very similar to that first color Valencia put down, but just deeper, more vibrant. I love taking colors like that and using that to blend everything I've used together, and it just gives you a little pop and makes it a little bit more interesting. You definitely don't need it. So Leo's becoming one of my favorites. I love the color Zion, which is kind of like a rusty color. And then there's a really bright pink color, a Mija, that I love to use. Just depends on my mood, but they are great options. And again, you don't need it, but it just adds just that little pop. And then I'm going to go in with this ivory color called Sabrina, and it does have shimmer in it. If you get it wet, it will definitely punch that shimmer up. I don't really need to. I'm using the more dense end of this brush, and that for me is enough. Again, I like to kind of keep it pretty quick since I have 3 kids, one being a 7-month-old. That balance of making it fun and interesting, but being quick. And so off camera, I added some mascara and then lined my waterline. And now, if I love the shape of my lips, but I just did this in case you wanted to know a way. If you want to make your lips look bigger, take your contour color or one that's a little bit lighter and just line your lips with them. But just go on the very outside of your lips and it will just make them look a little more plump. I don't do this very often, but just so you can see how to do that. And like I said, you're just going to go a little bit on the outside of your lips. Now, you're doing this with the contour, and so it looks fine because it's just kind of pushing your lips out, making them look bigger versus taking like a red and outlining the outside of your lips. That's going to show a little bit more. And then I just take the color I want to use and blend them together so it's a little more of a cohesive color variation there. It's not like a stark liner line. And that's it. That's the look. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover. If you want to get color matched, you can just email me at kimandersonbeauty@gmail.com. And thanks for watching. Bye.